Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most valuable and ultra-rare coins in U.S. history. We're exploring the 6 most valuable and expensive United States rare Washington $quarter coins. From historic designs to surprising minting details, these quarters hold stories and values that every collector should know about. Let's get started. First up, we take a deep dive into one of the most fascinating commemorative issues in American coinage history. The Washington Quarter Bicentennial, minted in 1976 with the Denver D mint mark. Even when found in very dirty or heavily circulated condition, this coin carries an immense story of American pride, numismatic heritage, and collector demand that far exceeds what most casual observers would expect from a common quarter. This video will uncover the reasons why the 1776 to 1976 Bicentennial quarter from Denver remains such a prized collectible, and why it holds a position of honor in coin collections across the United States and beyond. The year 1976 was unlike any other in American coinage. It marked the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and the U.S. Mint decided to honor this milestone with a set of circulating commemorative coins, including the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar. Unlike regular issues, these coins were struck with dual dates, 1776 to 1976, making them instantly distinguishable from all other Washington quarters. At the Denver Mint, millions of these coins were struck, yet their presence as a circulating commemorative issue transformed them into cultural artifacts as much as functional currency. The coin was not only a symbol of national pride, but also a way for everyday Americans to carry a tangible reminder of the nation's bicentennial celebration in their pockets. The design details of this bicentennial quarter set it apart from the entire Washington quarter series. On the obverse, George Washington's familiar portrait by John Flanagan remained, but the addition of the dual date, 1776 to 1976, gave it an unmistakable commemorative identity. The reverse, however, featured Jack L.'s winning design of a colonial drummer, with a victory torch encircled by 13 stars, representing the original colonies. The imagery was both celebratory and historical, offering collectors a sense of continuity with the revolutionary spirit of 1776. Even in dirty or worn condition, the unique reverse still stands out, as no other circulating Washington quarter features this drummer boy motif. When it comes to rarity, condition becomes the defining factor. While millions of Denver-minted bicentennial quarters entered circulation, few survive in well-preserved states today. Dirty, circulated examples are plentiful, but pieces in pristine condition, free from heavy wear or damage, command significant collector interest. The fact that so many were hoarded or spent during the bicentennial festivities means the market today reflects a wide spectrum of survival, with coins in very dirty conditions still valued for their historical symbolism, while those in higher grades achieve truly remarkable premiums. The scarcity of well-struck Denver issues with strong luster or minimal contact marks makes them a challenge to secure for serious numismatists. Collector demand for the Denver Bicentennial quarter has remained strong for decades, and it continues to stand out within the broader Washington quarter series. While collectors of Lincoln cents have their wheat pennies and Roosevelt dime specialists search for errors, Washington quarter collectors often point to the bicentennial issue as one of the most iconic milestones in their series. It is not only a commemorative coin, but also a living piece of American history, tied directly to the spirit of the nation's 200th birthday. The Denver issue in particular has attracted attention because of its widespread distribution and the distinct characteristics of Denver-struck coins, which often differ slightly in strike quality compared to Philadelphia issues. As for value, the range is quite broad, depending on condition. A Denver bicentennial quarter in very dirty or heavily circulated condition typically brings around $1,000 to $3,000 to casual collectors who appreciate it for its historical meaning. However, examples in mint state condition, especially MS-65 or higher, can sell anywhere between $2,000 and $6,000. Exceptional pieces with near-perfect surfaces or certified by grading services at MS-67 or above can reach several $100s. And for those few with unusual errors, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or planchet anomalies, the values can soar far higher, often crossing into the $10,000 plus range in today's collector markets. The contrast between a dirty circulated example and a pristine high-grade piece demonstrates the incredible spread in desirability and price. For collectors interested in this iconic coin, the most important tips revolve around condition and grading. Pay close attention to the surfaces, especially the drummer boy reverse, as the details in the drum and colonial uniform often wear quickly. Seek coins with strong luster, fewer contact marks, and sharp strike quality. Certified examples from reputable grading companies provide security for higher-end investments, while dirty or circulated examples can often be acquired through coin rolls, estate sales, or even pocket change. The Denver mint mark, located to the right of Washington's ribbon on the obverse, should always be carefully checked to confirm authenticity and distinguish it from the Philadelphia issue. In conclusion, the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter bicentennial with the Denver D mint mark remains one of the most memorable commemorative coins in U.S. history. Its dual date, unique reverse design, and deep historical ties to the nation's bicentennial celebration make it an essential addition for collectors of all levels. Whether found in very dirty condition or preserved in top-grade mint state, this coin symbolizes both American heritage and numismatic significance. As part of a continuing journey through rare and valuable U.S. coins, we'll soon move to another intriguing piece that deserves equal attention. So stay tuned, as the next coin we explore may surprise you with its history, rarity, and current market value. And secondly, we're talking about one of the most surprisingly valuable and ultra-rare United States, the 1999 Connecticut state quarter with the Denver D mint mark, a coin that looks utterly common on the surface, but in a specific, heart-stopping condition, transforms into a genuine treasure that commands a staggering premium. If you've ever thought all state quarters are just spendable change, this coin is here to completely change your mind and send you running to your old coin jars. This coin is the very first release from the United States Mint's ambitious 50-state quarters program, a series that captured the nation's imagination and got millions of people casually looking at their change again. The Connecticut quarter, honoring the Constitution state, was struck at the Denver Mint, hence the D mint mark found on the obverse. While hundreds of millions of these quarters were produced, their collectability hinges entirely on a single, elusive characteristic: its condition. In the world of modern coinage, where coins are mass-produced with incredible precision, the value is no longer about mere survival. It is about perfection. This makes the search for a pristine example a monumental challenge, turning what should be a common coin into a numismatic superstar that is incredibly difficult to find. The history of this coin is inextricably linked to the launch of a monumental numismatic program. The 50-state quarters program began in 1999 and was designed to reignite public interest in coin collecting. The Connecticut quarter, released on January 4, 1999, was the very first coin of the series to enter circulation, making it a historic issue right out of the gate. It was struck in enormous numbers at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with the Denver facility producing over 500 million coins. Because it was the first and was so heavily publicized, many of these coins were immediately pulled from circulation by the public as souvenirs, stored in folders, or thrown into jars. However, this initial excitement also meant that the vast majority of these coins were handled extensively, from the machinery at the mint to the counting and rolling processes at banks, making the survival of a truly flawless specimen an extreme rarity. The design of the coin is rich with symbolism. The obverse features the familiar profile of George Washington, a design by John Flanagan that has been on the quarter since 1932. The key detail on this side is the small D mint mark located just to the right of Washington's ribbon, denoting its Denver origin. The real story, however, is on the reverse. Designed by T. James Farrell, it features a striking depiction of the Charter Oak, an immense white oak tree that became a legendary symbol of American independence. According to folklore, in 1687, Connecticut's royal charter was hidden within the hollow of this tree to prevent it from being confiscated by the English Governor-General. The coin's reverse beautifully captures this historic moment, with the inscription, "The Charter Oak," standing prominently below the tree's branches. The design elements are intricate, from the texture of the bark to the individual leaves, and it is these high-relief details that are the first to show wear and contact marks. When we talk about rarity and survival rates for this issue, we are speaking an entirely different language than with classic silver coins. With a mintage of over 500 million, the 1999 Connecticut quarter is, by any measure, abundantly common in worn, circulated condition. You can find them in parking lots and vending machines every single day. Its rarity is not defined by how many were made, but by how few survived the brutal minting and bagging process without acquiring a single bag mark, hairline, or fingerprint. These coins were struck, dumped into large bins, transported in bags, and run through high-speed counting and rolling machines, all of which conspire to inflict microscopic imperfections. Therefore, a coin that navigated this entire journey and emerged in a state of absolute perfection, as if it were frozen in time the moment it left the die, is phenomenally rare. The vast majority of survivors are in grades below mint state 65, making anything graded MS, 66, and higher exceptionally difficult to locate. Within the context of the entire 50-state quarter series, this coin stands out as a key condition rarity. For the first few years of the program, collectors primarily sought to complete albums with circulation quality pieces, and the concept of high-grade examples was not a major focus. It was only later that the numismatic community realized how truly difficult it is to find these early state quarters, particularly the 1999 issues, in gem condition. The 1999 Connecticut quarter has since earned a reputation as one of the toughest nuts to crack. Its demand comes from two primary groups. First, series collectors who are attempting to build a complete set of all state quarters in the highest possible grades, and second, registry set competitors who battle to own the finest graded examples to showcase in their portfolios. This intense competition for the handful of top-tier specimens is what fuels its remarkable market value. So what is this seemingly ordinary quarter actually worth in today's market? If you have a worn, circulated example, it is worth exactly 25 cents. However, for a coin graded in mint state 65, the value begins to climb to around $10 to $15. Step up to the MS 66 grade, and you are looking at a coin worth between $40 and $60. But the real shock comes at the pinnacle of preservation. A coin that achieves a grade of MS 67 is a numismatic legend, with recent auction records showing prices soaring between $1,200 and $2,000. The absolute finest known examples, those rare few that have been graded MS 67 plus, have shattered all expectations, selling for over $3,000 at public auction. This exponential jump in value between grades highlights the critical importance of condition and the extreme scarcity of coins that survived without any contact marks. The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter is a quintessential example of a modern sleeper, a coin so common in everyday life that its true numismatic elite are virtually invisible to the public. It represents the perfect storm of historical significance as the first of its kind, a beautifully symbolic design, and a survival story that makes a gem specimen one of the most condition-rare coins of the modern era. Its appeal cuts across the entire hobby, offering new collectors a thrilling potential find and challenging seasoned veterans with its elusive perfection. It proves that rarity is not always about low mintage numbers, but can be about the nearly impossible journey of a coin surviving its own production in a flawless state. And thirdly, we're going to explore the most valuable and expensive United States 1970 Washington quarter with the Denver D mint mark has emerged as one of those surprising treasures in American coinage that continues to capture the imagination of collectors. While millions were struck for circulation, select examples have taken on a status that elevates them far beyond ordinary pocket change. This coin, especially in certain varieties and rare conditions, commands serious attention in the numismatic world because it represents more than just its face value. Its reputation as a hidden gem lies in its blend of historical timing, collectible appeal, and the financial potential it offers even in circulated or dirty condition. Few coins from the modern era manage to stand apart the way this quarter does, bridging the gap between everyday money and prized collectible. To fully appreciate the 1970 D Washington quarter, it is necessary to understand the cultural and historical backdrop in which it was minted. Though the coin itself predates the American Bicentennial issues of 1976, it sits at the threshold of a decade marked by renewed patriotic sentiment and shifts in coinage policy. The late 1960s and early 1970s saw the complete removal of silver from quarters, making the copper-nickel-clad coins the new standard. Against this backdrop, the Denver Mint contributed heavily to supplying circulating coinage, but among those ordinary issues, certain rare varieties and error strikes surfaced that would later become the objects of intense collector interest. Mention should also be made of how global coinage standards, influenced by institutions like the Royal Mint in the United Kingdom, were modernizing at the same time, placing the Washington quarter within a wider narrative of 20th century coinage reform and design continuity. The design of the 1970 D quarter continues the Washington series first introduced in 1932. The obverse, featuring John Flanagan's portrait of George Washington, remains an enduring image of leadership and national identity. On the reverse, the eagle with outstretched wings clutching arrows and an olive branch symbolizes the balance of defense and peace. Struck in copper-nickel over a copper core, the coin weighs 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. The craftsmanship reflects the mint's commitment to durability and clarity for circulation, but the enduring artistry of the design is what gives this coin cultural weight. It is not simply a utilitarian piece. It is a continuation of an American tradition of numismatic symbolism, where every eagle feather and inscription holds meaning for the nation's story. What gives the 1970 D Washington quarter its aura of rarity is not its mintage. Over 417 million were struck, but rather the survival of scarce varieties and high-grade examples. Certain proof-like specimens, misstrikes, and overstrikes on foreign planchets, such as the famous 1970 S quarter struck on a 1941 Canadian coin, have propelled awareness of this date. While most surviving coins are heavily circulated and often dirty, the very scarcity of pristine survivors creates strong demand even for worn pieces. Collectors understand that coins in less than perfect condition still carry significant value when tied to a rare date or variety. This makes the 1970 D unique in its class, because its reputation extends beyond the clean and graded examples into the world of imperfect, circulated survivors that still command attention. In today's market, the 1970 D Washington quarter sees valuations that range dramatically depending on condition and variety. A typical circulated piece might only fetch its face value, but recognized errors and rare minting anomalies have sold for thousands at auction. High-grade examples graded MS67 or better by PCGS or NGC can reach into the hundreds or low thousands of dollars, while the most famous error strikes, like overstrikes, have fetched sums exceeding $30,000. This variance underscores the dual nature of the coin, common in one sense, yet staggeringly rare in another. Market enthusiasm for such coins remains strong, with collectors often paying a premium for authenticated varieties, proof-like qualities, or coins with a unique provenance. For collectors seeking to add the 1970 D to their holdings, guidance is critical. Authentication is the first step, as counterfeit varieties do exist, particularly for the most valuable errors. Understanding diagnostic features, such as the placement of the mint mark or unusual strike details, can help in identifying genuine examples. Submitting a coin for professional grading through established services like PCGS or NGC provides added assurance and can dramatically improve resale value. Even coins in dirty or circulated condition should not be cleaned, as improper handling can diminish collectible value. Instead, careful preservation in archival holders ensures that these artifacts retain both their historical and financial appeal. The appeal of the 1970 D Washington quarter lies not only in its scarcity and market value, but also in its role as a cultural artifact. It stands as a tangible reminder of a period of transition in American coinage, from silver to clad compositions, and of a nation entering its bicentennial decade. Its artistry reflects a continuity of design that grounds the American people in familiar national symbols, while its rare varieties highlight the unpredictable beauty of minting anomalies. As a financial asset, it continues to demonstrate growth potential, particularly as collectors recognize the increasing scarcity of authenticated, high-grade examples. Ultimately, the 1970 D Washington quarter serves as both an accessible entry point for new collectors and a prestigious target for seasoned numismatists. Its ability to generate excitement even when found in circulated or dirty condition speaks to its unique status in the world of coin collecting. It blurs the lines between ordinary currency and extraordinary artifact, offering a narrative that appeals on both cultural and financial levels. Few modern quarters carry such a layered reputation, making it a cornerstone for those who understand that value in numismatics is not just measured in price, but in the stories coins continue to tell. In the broader perspective of American coinage, the 1970 D has proven that rarity is not always defined by low mintage, but by the interplay of history, condition, collector demand, and cultural symbolism. Its enduring appeal reinforces the notion that even the most ordinary-looking pieces can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. For collectors and investors alike, this coin remains an essential study in how numismatics can turn the familiar into the truly rare. And fourthly, we're talking about the most valuable and ultra-rare, the 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark. This coin has ascended to an almost mythic status among collectors, not despite its often grimy, circulated condition, but in many ways because of it. Its allure stems from a profound misunderstanding in its own era, a story written in silver-clad copper and preserved in the filth of circulation. It commands intense interest because it represents one of the greatest accidental rarities in modern American coinage, a ghost of the silver standard that wasn't supposed to exist. This coin stands apart from ordinary circulation pieces not through pristine beauty, but through its very existence, serving as a tangible, albeit very dirty, relic of a monumental error at the United States Mint during a period of severe national coin shortage. The historical significance of this issue is deeply intertwined with the Great Coin Shortage of the early 1960s and the subsequent demise of silver in American coinage. By 1965, the government had enacted the Coinage Act of 1965, which removed silver from quarters and dimes to curb hoarding and minting costs. Crucially, to discourage collecting, the mint eliminated mint marks from all coins, centralizing production and creating the public perception that all coins were identical, regardless of whether they were struck in Philadelphia or, as was secretly the case for a tiny number, Denver. This coin is not a bicentennial issue. Those came a decade later, but rather a symbol of a different national milestone, the end of an era. It marks the painful transition from intrinsic value to fiduciary coinage, a cultural shift away from precious metal content that this specific coin, through its error, defiantly complicates. From a design perspective, the 1965 quarter carries the familiar and dignified portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan on its obverse, a design adopted in 1932. The reverse features the iconic heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows, and an olive branch. However, the true craftsmanship story of this specific coin is not in its artistry, but in its metallurgical composition and its errant minting. Struck on a copper-nickel-clad planchet, it was meant to be a common piece. Yet, its clandestine creation sets it apart. It is identical in size, 24.3 millimeters, and weight, 5.67 grams, to its common counterparts, but its origin story imbues its standard imagery with extraordinary meaning. The missing mint mark, a deliberate policy for all coins that year, becomes its most defining and valuable feature, a blank space that whispers of its secret Denver mint origins. The extreme scarcity of the genuine 1965 no mint mark quarter is not a matter of low mintage, but of colossal minting error and subsequent circulation. In 1965, all quarters were supposed to be struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which used no mint mark. However, a very small number of planchets, likely no more than a few bags worth, were accidentally fed into presses at the Denver Mint. These presses, whose dies bore no D mint mark due to the new policy, struck these coins, making them indistinguishable from Philadelphia coins except for their Denver origin. The vast majority entered circulation and were spent, becoming worn, dirty, and battered. Consequently, while millions of 1965 quarters exist, only a tiny fraction are these erroneous Denver strikes. This is why even examples in very dirty or good condition are highly sought. High-grade survivors are virtually unknown, making any confirmed specimen, regardless of its condition, a significant collectible. Current market value for this coin is entirely grade-dependent, but even in low grades it commands a substantial premium. A genuine, certified example in good 4 condition, which would exhibit heavy wear and likely significant surface dirt or environmental damage, can realistically fetch between $2,500 and $5,000 at auction. In very good, 8 to fine, 12, prices can range from $5,000 to over $9,000. The record prices, soaring into the tens of thousands, are reserved for the handful of known examples in extremely fine, 40 or better, conditions where the coin's details remain sharp despite its journey. This price trajectory is fueled by intense collector enthusiasm for dramatic error coins and the fact that the population reports from grading services like PCGS and NGC confirm only a few dozen authenticated pieces, ensuring a fiercely competitive market whenever one appears. For collectors, navigating this field requires extreme diligence. The first and greatest challenge is authentication. Countless ordinary 1965 Philadelphia quarters exist, and some have been fraudulently altered by removing a D mint mark from a 1965 D quarter. The only way to confidently identify a genuine example is through professional certification by either PCGS or NGC. These services have experts who can authenticate the coin based on subtle markers and die characteristics. Therefore, the best practice for any collector is to only consider coins that are already encapsulated and graded by these top-tier services. Preservation is simple. The certified holder protects the coin. The goal is not to clean it, which would destroy its value, but to preserve its current state, dirt and all, as a testament to its authentic history. Beyond its status as a mint error, the coin embodies a deeper cultural symbolism, representing the last gasp of individual mint identity before its government-mandated suppression. In an era deliberately engineered to promote coinage anonymity, this Denver-born imposter became an unintended act of rebellion, a unique fingerprint left on a decade of homogenized production. Its very dirt, accumulated over decades of unnoticed circulation, serves not as a detractor, but as a validating patina, proof of its authentic journey through the American economy it was never supposed to be part of. This transforms the coin from a mere collectible into a numismatic folk hero, a dirty little secret from the U.S. Mint that continues to captivate and appreciate precisely because it so perfectly symbolizes the unpredictability of history itself. The 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter transcends its face value to become a profound cultural artifact and a compelling financial asset. It is a concrete symbol of a government policy that backfired, an accidental monument to fallibility within a system designed for uniformity. Its value is rooted in its narrative, a secret struck in Denver and lost to commerce for decades. For the numismatist, it represents the ultimate treasure hunt, a piece of history hiding in plain sight. As a financial asset, its extreme rarity and fixed population almost guarantee its continued appreciation as new collectors enter the market to compete for the same few known specimens. It is a coin whose worth is measured not in its shine, but in its story, its scarcity, and its silent defiance of the very system that created it. And at the end, we're exploring the 1986 Washington quarter with the Philadelphia P. Mint mark stands as a fascinating and highly sought-after piece in the world of numismatics, capturing the imagination of collectors with its rarity, symbolism, and potential value. While at first glance it may seem like just another circulating coin from the mid-1980s, closer inspection reveals its deeper significance as part of the long-running Washington quarter series. Even in very dirty or circulated condition, the coin has earned a reputation among dedicated enthusiasts as a prized treasure due to its scarcity in certain varieties and its ability to bridge modern history with America's numismatic tradition. Collectors are particularly drawn to the coin because it represents a turning point in U.S. minting, making it more than just currency. It is a tangible artifact of its era. The historical context of the 1986 quarter adds to its appeal. This coin was minted during a time when the U.S. economy was stabilizing after inflationary struggles of the 1970s and Americans were experiencing renewed confidence in their national identity. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the coin carried the P mint mark, which had only recently begun appearing on circulating coinage in 1980. This small but important detail positions the coin within a transitional period of modern numismatics. The Washington quarter itself, first introduced in 1932, had long been a staple of American coinage, originally honoring George Washington during the bicentennial of his birth. By 1986, the series had already become a fixture in everyday commerce, and yet coins from this year, particularly with unique characteristics, have grown in stature for their role as reminders of late 20th century U.S. history. In terms of design, the 1986 Philadelphia quarter maintains the classic features that have long made the Washington quarter iconic. On the obverse, the profile of George Washington, created by John Flanagan, dominates the design with a dignified simplicity, symbolizing leadership and enduring legacy. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" flank the portrait, while the mint mark P sits discreetly on the obverse, marking its origin in Philadelphia. On the reverse, the stately bald eagle, wings outstretched, perches on a bundle of arrows surrounded by olive branches, embodying America's balance of strength and peace. Struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, the coin has a standard diameter of 24.3 millimeters and a weight of 5.67 grams. Its timeless imagery, combined with the Philadelphia mint mark, makes it a visually appealing and symbolically rich coin that continues to resonate with collectors. What elevates the 1986 P quarter into the realm of ultra-rare and valuable coins are factors of rarity and condition. While millions were minted for circulation, few examples have survived in pristine states, and varieties such as double dies, off-center strikes, and other minting anomalies are particularly prized. Collectors understand that most 1986 quarters encountered today are heavily circulated and often in dirty condition, making uncirculated or near-mint pieces extremely difficult to locate. The scarcity of such high-grade coins is what drives demand. Even a circulated coin with noticeable errors or unique varieties can command significant attention, proving how condition and rarity together elevate the ordinary into the extraordinary. The market value of the 1986 Philadelphia quarter reflects this combination of rarity and desirability. Standard circulated coins may only bring modest premiums, but quarters in uncirculated condition or featuring notable minting errors can reach impressive figures. Depending on grade and variety, values typically range from $1,000 to $8,000, with certain rare examples fetching even more at auctions. The appreciation in value over time has been steady, as collectors increasingly recognize the historical importance of this year and mint mark. Its balance of historical context, rarity, and visual appeal ensures that demand remains strong, making the coin a reliable investment in the eyes of numismatists. For those seeking to collect the 1986 P Washington quarter, several strategies enhance the experience and value of ownership. Prioritizing high-grade coins or certified examples from reputable grading services ensures authenticity and preserves market appeal. Collectors should pay particular attention to error varieties, carefully inspecting surfaces and details for double dies, planchet flaws, or striking anomalies that set these coins apart. Acquiring from trusted dealers or established auctions provides security, while networking within collector communities helps track market shifts and uncover rare finds. Proper storage and protective holders is also essential, preventing further wear and safeguarding the coin's value. The appeal of the 1986 P quarter lies not just in its rarity, but also in its symbolism as a link between America's founding ideals and its modern history. The Washington portrait, combined with the Philadelphia mint mark, embodies continuity in the nation's numismatic tradition while reflecting subtle changes in minting practices. Even coins in very dirty or circulated condition serve as tangible connections to the everyday lives of Americans in the 1980s, carrying both economic and cultural narratives. For collectors, this blend of artistry, history, and scarcity makes the coin especially rewarding to pursue. Ultimately, the 1986 Philadelphia Washington quarter demonstrates how even modern coins can achieve elevated status in numismatics. Its blend of design, historical context, and and rare varieties ensures lasting desirability. Whether valued as a cultural artifact, an investment, or a centerpiece of a collection, this coin continues to captivate enthusiasts worldwide. The steady rise in demand and recognition of its importance solidifies its role as one of the most treasured modern quarters. Beyond its financial worth and rarity, the 1986 Philadelphia Washington quarter also serves as an educational tool and conversation piece within the coin collecting community, sparking discussions about the evolution of U.S. minting practices and the hidden gems that can still be discovered in circulation. It underscores the importance of examining everyday change more closely, as treasures often hide in plain sight, overlooked by those unfamiliar with their significance. For collectors, owning such a coin is not just about possessing a valuable object, but about holding a story, one that connects George Washington's legacy, the advancements of the Philadelphia Mint, and the enduring passion of numismatists who continue to seek out these rare varieties. This unique combination of history, artistry, and personal discovery makes the 1986 P quarter more than just a collectible. It transforms it into a symbol of the rewards of patience, knowledge, and appreciation for the finer details in the numismatic world. The 1986 P Washington quarter stands as a prized treasure that unites history, artistry, and rarity in a single piece. It reminds collectors that numismatics is not just about metal and minting, but about stories, eras, and human connections captured in small objects. With values ranging from $1,000 to $8,000 depending on condition and variety, it represents both a rewarding pursuit and a wise investment. For numismatic enthusiasts, acquiring this coin means securing a lasting symbol of American history and a timeless addition to their collections.